this in view. With the window box thinlets, this is what we cut out. This is what it creates. We have this piece. If you've got a big shot or any other type of machine like a Cuttlebug, you need 2 pieces of these to make the box. And for this one, all you do is you pop this inside. Don't know if I've got that in the right spot or not, obviously not. Try that. So you sit that inside, run that through the big shot, and then you don't have to worry about trying to line it up. It's a great little tip. But these are the pieces you need to make the box. So if you've got these things and some white cardstock, you need 2 sheets of A4 cardstock, Whisper White. You need about 1/4 of a piece of the Whole Lot of Lovely DSP. If you're joining me and you actually want to create with me, you'll need to do a little bit of fussy cutting as well. I have a piece here started, and I just thought I'll give you a couple of tips on fussy cutting. When you're cutting, always trim the general area down, so you're not having a whole sheet to try and maneuver around, because that's just too difficult. So trim a little area down. Also, another tip is, when you're cutting, is to angle your scissors and move the paper. You shouldn't really have to move your scissors, except to maybe open them back up again. And I find if I leave a tiny little white edge, just like our dies and thinlets do anyway on our stamped images, for those intricate little spots, it makes it that little bit easier and less likely to chop things off. And yes, I do chop things off quite regularly. But if you keep your scissors on an angle like so, you also don't have any, I think it's more if you're into paper towel that's more of an issue, but if you have a different coloured centre on your cardstock, sometimes that can be a problem as well. Now, I'm not going to keep fussy cutting the whole thing, because that is just quite boring to watch. I actually quite enjoy fussy cutting, but watching somebody else fussy cutting for a long period of time isn't my idea of fun. So we'll put that aside. Now you will need at least 2 to 3 pieces for your card front, and at least 1 for your box. So that's 4. I've obviously got a couple of little pieces extra because I just enjoy fussy cutting. You'll also need to have your A4 folded in half and trimmed at 10.5 for your card base, and I always use thick cardstock wherever possible. Now the piece of silver foil, that's been cut, I've got it written on the back so I don't forget, at 10.4 centimetres that way across and 14.4 centimetres this way, which is 4 1/16 inches across and 5 11/16 in inches up this way. And you will also need, I've already trimmed out the centre, this piece here. This is for the front, and this is cut at, now because I've already cut it and I've lost my bit of writing, here it is, 10 centimetres across, 14 centimetres up, which is 3 15/16. I'm sure there's a proper way of saying that, but because I don't deal in inches very often, or 5 11/16 in length. That's in the inch for the American measurements, or because we're metric here in Australia. Now with our layering squares, I'll just pop them out if I can. I'll put the base away for a sec. we used, can I get them into view a little? It's weird without her. It would be. At least she's been sharing lots of pictures, Jess. I don't know if he's still here or not. There's a bit of a lag with our video and the computer. Alright, so this is the piece that we used to cut out here. And that's for that one. Then we've got our large scallop. That's to make the silver foil frame that'll go over the top here and here. So you've got the inside, which is this piece, and then the large scallop edge. And then for the acetate underneath, that has to be slightly larger than the hole. So that is actually our largest plain edge layering square, like so. Now all we need to do, because that's the best thing about the foil acetate too, silver on one side, gold on the other. How amazing is that? Now all we're going to do, I've got to try and remember to keep in view here for you guys, is add a tiny little bit of glue. We don't want too much. Has it gone solid on me on the end? Yes. There we go. Tiny little bit of glue. Did I get it or not? There it is. Because we don't want any glue on our foil acetate anyway. That's the idea of not using too much. Now I have got a wipe. I always have a wipe handy because I like to spread my glue. That stops the glue spreading into areas that you don't want it at a later point. Now it's going to be gold facing up to you because we want our silver showing. That's all you do, just lay it on top like so. Oops, don't move around too much. How easy was that? Now we're going to pop a bit of glue on the back here. And again, we only need the tiniest little amount if I can get it to flow. I went and done a silly thing last night. I went and left the lid off my glue so it dried in the end. Here we go. And tiniest little bit all the way around. Once again, I will use my, pardon me, fingers. I just had lunch. A lovely thick shake, peanut butter and banana thick shake. Okay, now that just sits over the top, and it should line up with the hole that's there because the inside of this scallop frame is the same size as the window. Just like so. How's that? That's pretty cool. I've got a bad habit of rubbing my hands together. I feel like that fellow off The Simpsons. Excellent. Right. Now, this isn't popped up. This is glued straight onto here. So we'll do that now while we've got the glue out. I'm not going to spread that so much because I want to actually have some wiggle room here. So I've noticed if you spread it, it takes that wiggle room away. So I think I've managed to get my cutting pretty good for a change. Normally I have to trim. How's that? That looks pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah. I'll play with it a little. That's that wiggle room. I love glue. And then that will sit up on dimensionals, the large ones. Now Bruno's not here, I can use as many dimensionals as I like. I love my dimensionals. And you know why I use so many? It's to keep my card, I think I need more, firm. Not wobbly or wibbly. And I can hear my children yelling at me from the other room. Oh, they're my mini dimensionals. I want my big ones. Where are my big ones? There they are. I have a big stash of dimensionals. It's stashed all over the place. Here we go. And they're away. You know what they're fighting over at the moment? The dog. Who's going to walk the dog? I mean, amazing. Those two, seriously, would fight over who's going to clean up the dog poo. It's amazing. But at least they're actually playing with the little girl today. The dog, I mean. And voila. Put our dimensionals away. Sorry for the boring bit. I couldn't really stick anything down before if I put the dimensionals on the back previous. It sort of makes it hard to manoeuvre. And I have tried to save a little bit of time for you by having a lot of stuff already pre-cut. But because we're doing two projects, we're doing the box as well as the card, it will get a little bit long. There's not a lot I can do about that. So if you've got a bit of time, go and grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. And you've got time, believe me. I don't know whether Jess is still with me or not. Or for that matter, Leonie. Mandy Gross is here. Okay, now I have to stand up for a sec just to line this up. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Silly me. I forgot to chop this out. Oh, that duffer. That's terrible. How am I going to get around that? Oh, well, that's all right. That's supposed to be white under there. I forgot to chop that silver square out. Because you'll see in this card it's black underneath for that contrast, but that's all right. We can work with anything. There we go. That's our card front. So we're just going to arrange a couple of our flowers. Like so. I love the yellow in here. In these, it's gorgeous. And this is basically all our card front is. We need, oh sorry, bumping the, sorry guys, sorry. There we go. We need the pool party stamp. And another mistake I've just made being live, can anyone tell me? I haven't stamped my sentiment. That is terrible. I might have to do that later. Gonna have to do that later. I've lost my stamp set. I thought I had it out and I've lost it. So basically that's our stamp, our card front. You put these down on mini dimensionals. You stamp your sentiment here and here, like so. For you, I adore you, here and here. I'm going to stamp that in Pool Party to match the flowers. And that will look amazing, I know. But that saved me a bit of time not having the stamp set here. Now you've got your two pieces for your window box ready. You will have to chop one of these little tabs off, just one, like so. All these other little tabs we need to fold and score. So this is our top, this is going to be our lid. So fold and score all the other little tabs as best as possible. These ones here are for putting the box together. If you have them pre-scored, pre-folded, sorry, and then burnished, that's the word, burnish. Got to burnish them. It makes the whole box process of putting it together a whole lot easier. the framelits themselves that we use to create this, actually, I don't know whether you can see, it creates a little score line in here. So all you've got to do is fold on that score line that it's been put in the cardstock for you, burnish it. Remember your words, Kim. Yes, it was a lot of dimensionals there. It's a personal choice. You don't have to use that many. Right, now I've chopped off one. We're going to opposite end these, because this is going to be the bottom. Make sure I'm still in shot. Not quite. This way. This is our bottom and this is our top. Now basically, I need to put some glue along here. Come on, out you come. And so that meets and they're level, like so. Now previous, as I said, I've mentioned, I cut a lot of my bits that I need out ready. What I did with the window box thinlits, let me just reach them again. You've got your lid insert that makes the window. For the foil, I just laid this piece over the top, went round with my paper piercing tool and scratched the surface, cut it out with my scissors, my paper snips, and it's the perfect size to go on top. Just what I need. Now I've got a little tip for you. If you've got a silicone mat, we've all got our sponges. If you've got one of these things, pinch a sponge, put a bit of glue in your mat here, like so. Pop this over, pick up some glue, spread it out a little, and just pop it in, like so. What this does, it gives you a good glue coverage without having glue seep through. So all I need to do is lay that like so, pick that up, put that out of the way, and I've got glue where I want it and not where I don't, because gluing on myself, I end up wearing so much glue on everything. Look, there's some. So if there's a way to not wear the glue, I'll be in it. Now what we're going to do now is make sure that's closed. That's the other thing I didn't do. I didn't bend and burnish these parts, which is a must. Also on the little score lines that the tool may give us. I have to do this off camera, just this little one. And this one, where's that line? There it is, like so. Now we're going to, I'm going to chop one more of these off on this edge, opposite edge. Oops, that went a bit deep. We're going to pop our glue here. And we're going to pop that together like that. Now if you've got your snail adhesive or your fast fuse, for some reason my fast fuse needs a clean out. I don't know whether I've got another one that's ready. to go, yes. Fast fuse is a lot easier to use here, but I do have to do it on the edge of my little container here, on the edge of my, or I can do it like so, just like this. One. I find fast fuse actually seals the bottom quicker and easier than glue. And for time as well. So if you've got fast fuse, use your fast fuse, please. Excuse me, waving around. Now this one's decided to not work for me. Let's pop a little bit of glue just there. So you've got your fast fuse on all your tabs for the bottom. I find it easier to actually do the one closest first. And line them up with the bottom, like so, pushing them together. Really firm fingers. Now, pushing these other ones, I don't know if you can see, I've got the wobbles up, in, and this one, use your tool, like so, and that is your base. Now because we've used fast fuse, you can, if you get a little bit on anything, just get your adhesive eraser, rubbing a bit extra or excess off, and that way it's not sticky when you go to give it to somebody. It's the same with the multi-purpose glue. If you've got more time and you want to use your multi-purpose glue, the multi-purpose glue works fine. It really does. I just find the fast fuse quicker and far more effective if you're short on time. Now I got all carried away and I forgot to put my little pieces of my windows. But never fear, we can work around anything. Now these are the little pieces of acetate that I chopped out earlier. They have a little cover on the back and you can just peel that off. I'd already peeled off the one for the card front. Now the size I used for the little window itself has to be slightly larger than the hole in the box. So it's the same as the card itself, is you need to have it slightly larger, so you've got an area to glue. So that was the window for the box, and this is the window for the actual foil, fabulous foil, the little size square that I used. Now I am actually going to put that straight onto this because I've done it the wrong way around, instead of onto the, these were supposed to go in before I made the box, but that's okay, as I said. Hopefully it all will be good. Make sure I've got them the right way up, because I want my little scaly bits like so. Make sure you've got your gold facing to you, and that's where you're going to put your glue, basically. Now we're going to do our other window. We've got things rolling around here everywhere. like so. Oops, my glue, got glue on my finger. Gluing myself. Whoops, wrong way up, nearly did it. Bit of glue. Alright, last window going in. Oh my goodness, what have I done? Look, I've got them gold facing. Goodness gracious me. Look at that. I am such a doofus today. Quick fix, quick fix. Quick fix. Alright. Now what was I saying, which way up? They've got to be facing silver. Goodness. Now how have I got them there? That way. Ah, we'll get there. Mistakes and all, we'll get there. Whoops. Last one now. Going in. Mistakes are part of card making, aren't they? Or crafting, paper craft. Yes, I'll have a bit of extra glue there now. Oops, come on, stay there. Right, this is our windows. They are now silver with glue everywhere. My apologies, I put them on inside out. Now, we have these little scallop frames here. Now, these were the size of the windows, this little square. So our scallop had to be the size bigger, like so. See, they fit together. You can actually cut them together in the big shop. Lay them over each other and you get this little thing. Now, if I'd have known I was going to make such a huge mess and have glue going everywhere, I could have made them a little bit bigger and covered it up. But that's okay. We just pop them over like so. More glue. And on that one. Yes, and I've got glue stuck to my fingers. Get as much of it off as I can. We're nearly there. Just got a little bit more gluing to do with the silver foil. Just sits on top like so. Beautiful. It's coming together oh so slowly. Now we've also cut some squares with the DSP and these will go on here. Just like so. Okay. last one. On here like so. Hello Annette. How are you, Annette? Now I've also cut some more little frames, but these are straight edges. Again, they nest, and it is this along with this one. Straight over the top, straight through the big shot over a piece of paper. They nest together, they fit together. That's the best thing about these layering framelits, I think. Now I'm being super quick and not lining up the best as I should. Now, and more dainty work. Here and round. And that just pops on over the top like so. Come on, little fella. Come on, little fella. Do what I want. A bit of glue in that corner. Normally I'm really heavy-handed, and now I have got a light touch all of a sudden. Like so. And that just really tidies up the edges of the paper. And again, that's a personal choice. If you want to have that just like so, you can leave it just like that. I like to have nice clean edges. Now I've got too much ink, glue. And that's the last little frame. There. Now, depending on how you feel, you can go along and burnish your corners so they're not sitting up. That's up to you. I've got more glue here than I need because of my little mistakes. We can close our lid if I can, because I forgot to burnish my corner. So that's our lid. Now we need one of our fussy cut flowers and a bit of thread, a dimensional, right in the centre. What have I got stuck there? A bit of hair. Peel the back off our dimensional and just loop. Your silver thread around and under. Till you're happy with however much you like. Come here, Mr. Silver Thread. Chop it off. I want a glue dot just to make sure that that sticks on top of the silver thread. So I've got my glue dot now. Alright, I'll pop that right in the centre, and that's our little box. And as I said, I have got glue in places I shouldn't have glue. So we've got our gold and black, and our silver and white. We've also got our silver and white card, matching card without the sentiment, and our black and silver. Oh, not in view, not in view, too high, too high. There it is. Wonder how much of that was out of view. Right, now when that's completely dry, I will go around and I will burnish all these edges in square so that they don't sit like so, and they're actually flush like they are on this one. They're actually flush because I've rubbed them and burnished them to the edges. Alright, thank you very much for joining me. Pop that back into view there. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you all again soon. Bye for now.